Another reason why I love Joe is because he sees more in me. He sees like he sees the better parts of me.
Keenan like wants to pray with me and, you know, just super encouraging because it can be easy to get defeated, especially if you don't get it, you know, like right away.
I mean, if you go by that, then your identity as a man is low-key lost.
And now he's in school, well, he's in barber school to get his license. So for me, I just try to be supportive in any way that I can.
I feel like there's no major red flags. I feel like we share a lot of common interests and common.
Well,
Okay.
For me, I think a red flag for Joe, for me, and the reason I say this is because, I mean, it was, I think, an issue for a while. Is I was very close to my family. I mean, with my parents. Like, I didn't want to leave my house. Like, I wanted to be with my parents forever, like even when we moved out. You don't think that was a thing? Okay, scratch that. Because I thought that was the thing. I don't know, there wasn't any red flags with you? I don't know.
I don't think so. I enjoy that you want to be around your family. I respect that. I mean, I'm a family guy, so I don't know why. I don't see.
See, it works out.
I mean, she lived with her parents, and you know, up until we were like 25, 26, and you know, the only thing that I guess that was a red flag. Okay, now that I'm thinking about it, she had a curfew and she had to be home sometimes by like midnight or 1 o'clock, and I'm like, what? We're grown. We have college degrees. We have careers, and.
But to me, I was like, hey, I'm still living under my parents' roof.
So that sometimes got annoying, but I mean, I understand house rules.
So, for him, like he said before, he was a harlot. And so for me, that was a red flag, and I wasn't going for that. So that was mainly the biggest red flag, honestly, was that. Oh, and also, well, then he had like a bad temper, really bad temper. So those two things.
Come a long way.
Definitely.
Honestly and truthfully, and this is not me being facetious, I cannot remember having a red flag. Like, our entire relationship, I kid you not, I've always felt like she was perfect. Like, and I don't even know how. I don't know how this is even able, because I even told her, I said, bro, like, it's like you love me too good. Like, it's unreal. So yeah, I don't really have a red flag. I mean, if I could think of one and just make up one, the red flag would be that, man, she seemed like she too perfect, because something got to be wrong. Other than the fact that she do procrastinate.
Definitely.
But that's not really a red flag. That's just, you know, so to answer that question, I can't think of one.
Well, a red flag for me was the amount of shoes that Keenan had. Did not know that somebody could actually really be addicted to shoes. It was, you are, baby. It was a very taken back process, especially like when I moved in, just how much he actually had. And I mean, how we overcame them is we moved into a bigger house and now he has a shoe room, so.
I mean, and it wasn't really a red flag, but, you know, it was something I had to learn, you know, and talk to her about. Was she's very emotional, so, but she didn't communicate, you know, what she was going through or what her problems was. So she'll just be crying. I'm like, babe, why are you crying? Like, I just didn't understand the crying, so I would just get frustrated and I'd get mad, like, stop crying. And it was a continued thing. But, you know, when we went through marital counseling, it really helped us, and it made me, you know, try to attempt to see things from her point of view. So I kind of laid off, and you know, I would start to talk to her, and you know, try to calm myself down. And you know, I say, babe, let's just pray about it, and then, you know, let God do what God does, and try to figure out, you know, how we can get through this.
Yeah.
Cause I had to find out, you know, what was going on, but she had to cry before she let me know what was going on. I just had to.
I don't
learn
really
that.
would necessarily say these are like red flags, because I feel like when you're in a relationship, like red flags are something that you can see more when you're dating, but when you're in a relationship, you are learning to like be with somebody that may not understand your love language or how you communicate. So I really think like it's just learning to like adjust to what that person needs, and like if you truly love them and want to be with them, then you'll do whatever you need to do to be able to, you know, learn how to love them. You know, I think that was kind of our thing, like just learning how to love each other, especially when we weren't a long distance couple anymore. We were with each other 24/7. I think that was like, you know, probably our biggest adjustment period, and we just learned to move around those differences that we had, honestly. So
I don't want to use the term red flag, only because for me a red flag means exit.
Out the door.
You know, I don't linger after I see a red flag. So I would say more so something to discuss. So, let me think on that. You want to
I'll
start?
call it an aha moment for me. Aha, I didn't know you was all the way like this. So for one, Taylor is very touchy, in your face.
Lies.
Touchy in your face. If she's over there and I'm over here, her foot is touching my leg. It's something, right? So one thing, let me tell my story. So one thing I noticed was while we were both working at home, right, during quarantine, I do this thing where sometimes I'll just take 15-minute brain breaks, right? I'll pull out my phone, I'll play a quick game on my phone, or even during lunch, an hour lunch, I'll sit in the living room, whereas she was sitting in the bedroom because we were working in two different spaces. And she's in there watching TV and I'm watching TV in there. And so she just came out the room one day. She comes out the room one day and she goes, what are you doing? I'm like, just.
This voice, okay.
Just, okay. What are you doing?
I do not.
That's literally what you did. Okay. I'm like, I'm sitting, I'm watching TV. And so she goes, well, why don't you come in here with me? Like, because I don't want to watch what you're watching. I want to watch this in here. But in that, I started to notice, like, she really wants to be around me. And that it's not a bad thing. That's what people do when they want that time together. So it was, again, it wasn't a red flag, but it was like an aha moment. Okay, well, I need to take out time during my day to spend with you, so you know that I'm thinking about you and I care about you and I'm invested in what you're invested in. And so we had this thing where when my lunch hit, I would go in the bedroom with her and we would start watching True Blood. And it was like, that was her show for a while. And then I got interested in True Blood and it turned into this thing, don't be watching the episode without me. So yeah, that was my thing.
Yeah, because I was rewatching. I had already watched it, but then I forgot what happened. And so it just like you said, it was kind of casual. And then he like, what's going on with Suki? Like, you know, he was really invested in it after that. So that was really sweet that he did that, because he saw that it was important to me, you know. So, and then it, you know, became important to him too. For me, something that we had to discuss was my sweet baby here can sometimes be a more reactive than proactive regarding responsibilities, conversations. You know, he got a little bit of a procrastinator in his spirit.
I can admit to that.
And so I am definitely type A. So that was an adjustment. And I was, again, in his own personal world, that does not impact me, right? But when we start talking about bills and being diligent about saving and things like that, and again, we had the venue in our pocket, we had all this other stuff in our pocket. I'm like, I need us to be proactive, sir. And so we kind of had a couple conversations about that. He's better about taking feedback. Initially, he'll be like on the defense, and I don't think it was about me, honestly. On a deeper level, I think it's because of who he's dealt with in the past. Their intentions weren't good when they're, talking to him and giving him feedback. We always try our best. What do we say? On the quest to reach a resolve, not to be right. So anytime we have a conversation with each other or have to give each other challenging feedback, we just try to reach a resolve and not like, well, let me tell you why you're wrong. So I think because he knew that I was coming from a place of I just wanted to be in a better position, he was receptive to that, and he's been much, much better about being procrastinators.
Yeah, I think with red flags especially, it's just a matter of really just showing grace to that other person.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like really buckling down, having patience, and being like, okay, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Right.
It's just,
but we did have deal breakers, and we discussed those before we got further. Both of us normed that we did not want to speak to each other aggressively, cussing at each other, any of that. Like, we do not talk to each other like that at all. And don't look down on anybody else. That's their, rapport, but we don't do that because both of us, it's because of two different reasons. He did not come from that, and I did come from that. And so we didn't want to create that environment because, it started with one word. Next thing you know, you feel comfortable to say something else to me.
You
crazy.
dirty mouth.
All of that,
Yeah.
And so calling me everything but a child of God. And so we definitely said, nah, don't call me out my name. We're going to be all right. So.
I feel like I say these non-negotiables, but they don't happen, but I don't freak out about them. I'm like, oh, maybe by the time we're married, she'll change. Maybe by the time we have kids. Maybe by the time she has kids or we have kids.
Let me hear. What are they?
I don't know.
Say it.
Maybe like wash a load of clothes or something. Maybe make up the bed.
So it's not like a everyday thing, right? It's like wait till Saturday to do a load of laundry, and I'm bad about it. I just haven't. I'm not on a routine, or I won't make the bed every day. It's little things, I guess, that as you live with someone, you learn to.
Yeah, I mean, I've learned to adjust to it. I mean, I'm not the cleanest guy myself, but I don't know.
Our house is clean, people. but yeah, I think it's the little things. But
I know, like what annoyed you was like when I left the soda in the fridge while it was open or something.
Yeah, half drink soda in the fridge. I felt like it was wasteful. Or what else? I think that's it. But I think we both knew that if we were gonna be together, we knew we both wanted kids. Like, I feel like I couldn't. I mean, to me, like, I knew I wanted to be with someone that wanted a family. I like, if anyone asked me if I like be with me and we're not gonna have any kids, I don't know if I could do it because I really want kids. I think so. I think for both of us.
I say, and at least one dog too.
At least one dog, yes, and pets.
Pets.
I would say.
So our non-negotiables were and still are divorce. Like, we don't agree with it. Of course, there are parameters biblically that warrant divorce, but as for us, that's not something that we ever want to do. We don't want anybody else raising our children other than us. We don't want anybody being with us other than us. So divorce is pretty much like that's not on the table.
And also, to answer that question, I feel like in marriage, in the beginning, you may say you have a non-negotiable, but I feel like once we're growing, we're changing. So once, when we're changing, our desires are going to change. So I feel like that question, it changes.
Of course, as my wife was saying, when you come into marriage, you have, I ain't gonna do this, I'm not gonna do that, I ain't going for that. And as you become married, because I feel like marriage is what happens after the wedding, you realize that as you continue to grow both as individuals and as a couple, your non-negotiables now become something that, okay, it's a little gray area to something that used to be once black and white. So as you continue to grow and mature, like she was saying before, you realize, okay, some stuff you can't give a little wiggle room to because you're not the same person that you were when you first got married. I feel like any couple that is the exact same people that they were when they first got married, that's a problem. Like, you should be changing. The world is always changing. You should be changing. So.
I mean, it's things we don't tolerate, but we never
tolerated it with,
never.
you know, even in our relationship. So getting married didn't really, like, you know, turn it into non-negotiables, because we had non-negotiables when we were dating. You know, I mean, to me, a non-negotiable is being disrespected. Never saw it when I was growing up, didn't see my dad do it to my mom, you know. And that's one thing that, you know, I know that he knew, that, you know, he didn't see, you know, his mom get disrespected. So that's one thing that he knows, that's a non-negotiable for me. And that's just something that I've never had to worry about. You know, Keenan is a quiet, kind soul. So even when I know that I've taken him there, he will not say anything. He will look and stare at me for as long as he needs to, but that's just one thing that has always been a non-negotiable for me.
So, and it's not even about marriage for me. It's just, I think it's about growing up. You know what I mean? So, and we both had to have these conversations with one another, so it's not mutually exclusive to one or the other. But this heavy drinking stuff to the point where I gotta carry you back and forth, we both had moments like that where we had to talk to each other and it's like, look,
That's not cute.
you can't do that no more. I know I was the most recent one, surprisingly, and it was just like, yeah, man, you can't do this. Usually when people do that, it's one of two things. You need to talk about something, or you're just overindulging too much. So I can say for both of us, it was either one of the two for both of us, and we had to have that come to Jesus moment. But in that moment, we showed each other again, grace. Look, you're good. Like, we're good, we're cool, but let's try to get a handle on this and try not to do it anymore. And dare I say, since we've done that, I don't think either one of us has like gotten sloppy drunk anymore. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I will have a beverage.
A buzz. Okay,
Beverages.
that's different.
But, you know, coming from the undergrad life and single lives, like, it really doesn't have a place in what we were trying to do and build. And so, again, like you said, we just had that kind of conversation. For me, the non-negotiable was me being a priority and him being a priority. Moving away from like our immediate family to now we're family, you know, like the leave and cleave, you know, and it's like, that's real, because it's like, if you want to be technical, like, this is my family and my mom and dad are like my relatives, you know what I mean? And so it's like, we're going to eventually have our own little people that we're going to raise, and this will be my family. And so just trying to like shift our minds and our focus to make sure that like I'm a priority to him and he's a priority to me. Does that mean that he is my only priority? No, but he is my first priority.
You know, we're not used to our mom being with other men or our father being with other women. We were used to being with that one partner.
I also did not romanticize marriage because I know that it can end.
I saw the after effects and the aftermath of what divorce looked like. And still to this day, still see.
I know Victoria always asks me like these random questions like, if I had one eyeball, if I had one leg, if I was in a wheelchair, would you still love me? Would you still marry me? I'm like, of course.